All right, Tyler and I are back for another one. Let's do this, Tyler. We're going to talk about Nik Bonitto now. This is going to be a good one. I'm sure we're going to separate when these videos are posted on the channel, but we're recording these back to back. Travis Hunter, Nik Bonitto, then we're going and doing Tyreek Hill and Sauce Gardner. So look for those videos to come out. But yeah, no, this is going to be good. Let's talk about Nik Bonitto, the player. So just to give people a little bit of a background, he's an edge for the Denver Broncos. Typically plays as kind of an outside linebacker in a 3-4 system. Okay, so he plays on the edge. He rushes the passer primarily, right? He's not out there playing coverage or running down flats or anything like that, mostly. And so he's kind of been playing as a little bit more as a designated pass rusher, but he's started to carve out more and more of a role. He's 6'3", 248 pounds, and despite that smaller size for an edge, he's got a 9.37 relative athletic score. So if you're not familiar with that, that's just kind of size adjusted athleticism for a player given their position. So it's out of 10. It's really impressive. Like, this is a very bursty, sort of bendy, agile player playing off the edge. So Tyler, give me your thoughts on your initial thoughts on Nik Bonitto. Kind of like break down the type of player he is, if you will.
Yeah. So just to start off, I think like what he is as a pass rusher is something truly special, and I think it was an absolute steal to get in the second round a couple years ago for the Broncos. Because number one, he has that explosive burst to him that you can't teach, but he also does have a very high motor. Mm-hmm. He really does, and even his pass rushing skill set is pretty versatile. He's pretty much shown he can go inside, he can go outside, he can do counter, he can do anything really.
Not a pure up the arc pass rusher.
Yeah, he's not, and that's what you really look for with especially these young edge rushers. Mm-hmm. So I think in terms of his strengths, he does have all the traits that you want in an elite pass rusher.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, and he's shown it, right? Like, I mean, so you've got the first season he played, his rookie year, he only got 37% of the snaps, only 1.5 sacks. Clearly getting his feet wet, right? Like, there's some adjustment to the league. The next year, he comes out, plays over half the snaps, 52% of the snaps in 2023, and racks up 8 sacks. It's a pretty nice season there on a decent Denver Broncos defense that year. And then 61% of the snaps this past year, and he got to 13.5 sacks. Really nice year. And he plays 17 games for the first time. The previous 2 seasons, he had missed 2 games apiece. And just, really, really carved out a role for himself. And I'm impressed at the way he's burst onto the scene, and I think there's more juice there even now to keep developing and potentially be even better. Don't you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's like just barely scratching the surface. I mean, he's only a third-year player at this point, and I think he's only going to improve. I mean, he has all the traits, and it's kind of like at the very worst, you're getting a 13 sack a year player.
Right.
Honestly, because that's what he got, and I think that's while playing, maybe. I mean, the snap counts are very low right now, which for like an elite edge. So can he eventually transition to higher snaps and maybe get even better numbers? I think that's the real big question right now.
I don't know, but do you want him to? Right? I mean, wouldn't you rather keep him a little bit lower on the snap counts and really get that pass rush juice as much as you can on the key downs where it matters?
If you had the other players to do that.
But that's the thing, is the Denver Broncos do.
They do right now. But what happens after he does get paid? And you have to make some more difficult decisions. And you're having a guy who is just a pure pass rush specialist. Mm-hmm. I think it becomes a little bit hard to build your roster around that.
Well, I don't think I don't know. I don't think he's the type of guy you build your roster around anyways, right? I don't know that he's... I think part of the reason he is a 13.5 sack guy is that he's playing on the Denver Broncos right now. Like, I think there is some reality to that.
Yeah, there is. Like, but I still think he's a type of guy that he is the best player. Okay, not the best player in that defense. Forgot about a special player that they have, but he is a type of player who is an elite weapon that offenses have to like be alert of where he is at all times because of what he can do as a pass rusher. So I don't know. I feel like in order to really maximize his value, I think he needs to be able to play the running downs.
I I think I agree with you. Like obviously, if he can play the running downs and still rush the passer the same way, that's the top end value, right? But I don't know that I think he can do that, right? I mean, he's not that stout in run defense. I don't. He's so effective and he's so effective in pass rushing downs. I mean. I think I want to utilize him as a weapon on more like a third of the snaps. I'm sorry, 2/3 of the snaps than all three downs. You know, I don't want him getting up to like 90% of the snaps played.
Yeah, that's what you would want, but I think I know we're going to talk about this a little bit later, but I think the contract that he might get, it's gonna put some might make a team try to actually turn him into like an every down pass rusher or edge rusher more.
I get that, but I think it would be a mistake. Yeah, but let's talk a little bit more about the player. I mean, so just I mean, do you think he physically can develop the ability to play first down? Do you think he can add a little bit more to the frame and anchor that end a little bit better, or because I'm skeptical.
I am, because usually, especially when you see if like a bunch of edge rushers coming out, you can kind of just tell if a player is going to be a run defender, even if they don't have the frame, just based on like what they've shown in the past. Like you can just tell. And with him, as great as his last season was, the run defense snaps did not look pretty, and there weren't a lot of them for a reason.
Right.
Like, I have a hard time believing he probably will develop, but I think it's still possible.
Yeah, I think it's possible. I don't really see it. That's just how I feel about it. You know, I struggle with that type of. It's not my favorite type of player, anyways, right? But yeah, I don't know that I think he has that really down. But we can talk a little bit about like what is this next year going to look like? So he's entering a contract year. He's played 3 out of the 4 years of his rookie contract. He's eligible for an extension now. I mean, to be clear, if I was the Broncos, I would extend him now and pay him now. Like if you're going to pay him now, because if he has like an 18 sack year, it's going to be. It doesn't matter that there's a question. It won't matter if there's question marks about first down if he hits that sort of sack mark. Like it. And it definitely could happen. So let's talk about what this year could look like in terms of achievement, and then we can talk about the contract a little bit more. So Tyler, lead us off there. What do you think?
Yeah, I think this year, I mean, Broncos defense hasn't really changed that much. It's going to be once again a really great unit.
I mean, they've added pieces. They haven't lost.
Yeah, they've
pieces.
added more. Yeah, they've added. Yeah, they haven't lost anyone. So if anything, they'll be better. Yeah, I have a hard time believing his sack numbers will actually like have a major regression. But most likely he's going to be 15 plus this year at least, and that means big payday coming up for him, because sacks get guys paid in the current NFL, I feel like.
So I mean when I look at it, right, to talk about the additions specifically, so one, Alex Singleton, who's kind of your main inside linebacker, got hurt last year. He was out for all but 3 games of last year's season, okay? You're bringing in Dre Greenlaw to play the will. You're bringing in Talanoa Hufanga to play strong safety. And you drafted Jahdae Barron, who I really like, to presumably be your slot corner.
That is a great defense.
This defense was already like stun you, shock you, take over the game type of good last year. It could get scary this year. I mean, just really kind of, Ravens, Browns from 2 years ago type defenses putting up historic EPA numbers and all that. Like it could get to the point where this coverage unit matches that pass rush in such a way that it gets scary fast for teams. And so when I look at especially, I think the key really for me is that Jahdae Barron signing, or that Jahdae Barron draft pick, is like if you can play stout coverage across the field and really be that tight on the back end, and you're going to give Nik Bonitto, who like we said has a really high motor, that much time. He could have a really crazy amount of sacks by the end of this year.
it's I don't think a lot of his time to pressure numbers were actually like very low. So assuming he continues to win fast
Hmm.
and then piles up some more coverage sacks, which obviously
Right.
you're going to get when you're playing with these corners in that corner room, safeties too. It's you're going to get some coverage sacks, and I think he still is by far the best edge rusher on that team, or even
Oh
pass
yeah.
rusher in general.
Yeah,
Like
I agree.
he's the most likely to like accumulate the stats, and yeah, I think it really is possible for him to get like an 18 plus sack season, and at that point, while still not playing rushing downs, and then I guess we can transition into what type of contract does that really net?
Right. Yeah. If everything goes right and he hits like 20 sacks, which I think is perfectly possible this year, if you presume more development on his end, if you presume that the Broncos defense is even better and they're just teeing off late in games, yeah, I think he could hit 20, and in that case, I think you're looking at like $25 million a year. Do you
I
think
think
it's
he could even
more?
get more. I think it's even possible to get more. I mean, I guess we saw that Josh Sweat get paid not too much last year,
I mean,
which
he
was
got
kind of
19, right?
surprising. He got 19, but he's also older. This guy's coming right off his rookie
Yeah.
contract. I think 25 is like expected. I think he could get up to like 28, 29 even.
Teams convincing themselves he's Micah Parsons. I could see it. I don't know. I do think there's going to be some skepticism. 13 and a half sacks is a nice number, but if he hits that big sack number, I do think there's going to be some skepticism from teams of like, how repeatable is this? How much is this a product of the Denver defense? I think there might be some question marks there, which is why I kind of put it a little bit more like 25 than the true guys with all the tools and the ability to play every down, sort of getting that the 30 plus. But I don't know. I could see him getting up to 30.
I mean, we saw Milton Williams get 26 from speculation. Well, he was on a great defense, and a lot of those same concerns like persist for him. But clearly, if he does hit the market, which he probably won't, realistically,
Right. Well,
Denver is
if
probably
his value's that high, at minimum it's a tag and trade, not a
yeah,
hit the free, not hitting the free agent market. So, yeah. I mean, I think that's part of it, right? Is Milton Williams got like an extra $3 million a year out of hitting or more out of
yeah,
hitting free agency, you know? So, no, I think it's interesting though. I definitely, I think the Broncos are probably going to end up keeping him though. I mean, if you don't have to let blue chip players at high leverage impact important positions like edge rusher go, you don't do it. And so I definitely think they can keep him. The cap space is fine. Like, they've got $50 million in cap space next year, $115 million in cap space the year after that, and they've got plenty of players signed. It's not like there's other people who are really going to overshadow him in terms of holding their hands out for money. So I think they're totally capable of paying him and keeping him around. It's just, it will be interesting to see how much that ends up costing them. Like I said, if I were them and you can get him to agree to something this offseason, I'd do it.
yeah. But his agent is probably saying do not,
Yeah.
yeah, because he knows like if he has another like over 10 sack season, he's getting paid the big bucks. And
Yeah. All right. Any final thoughts on Nik Bonitto or the contract situation or the Denver Broncos defense?
yeah, I'll just give my final sum up. I think he's a really fun young player to watch, and I'm really just excited to see like if he grows or how he grows, and really how like this defense will actually look this year.
Yeah. We just really want to talk about him because we really think he's someone to watch. Like, this is a player who could end up getting a really massive contract next season, really impactful, ascending player. And so, yeah, I think I'm just excited to see what he does. I'm not, as a Chiefs fan, I'm not rooting for the Broncos to succeed, but I do think there's really something special and fun about watching defenses that in the modern NFL just take it to offenses, even though offenses are supposed to have all the advantages. So I appreciate that part as a football fan. So yeah, we're gonna get out of here. Please leave us a like and subscribe. Talk about it down in the comments. Let us know how much you think Nik Bonitto is gonna get this offseason, or tell us where we went wrong. Broncos fans, come after us with the pitchforks and the torches, and tell us how good of a run defender he is. So yeah, have a good one.